Hello, welcome to Asnointia Audio. This is Asnointia here. The topic I will be discussing today is something that comes up very often when I'm doing readings for my clients. Mostly females have this problem. However, it is throughout the male-male, female-female, male-female relationship. It's very common. This particular recording is based more on the average, which is the females that come to me with this question. So I thought I'd create a video/audio recording of this. And this is all about hot and cold, in and out, on and off kind of relationships. My goodness, it is so common these days to be in a connection like this. And it lingers on and on and on. And you wonder, are we headed anywhere? Is anything happening? Unfortunately, not much is happening. Many times, I've had clients that come to me with their stories, and many of you know the type of readings that I do. I look into the feelings and emotions of the other individual. So deep down, I can tell you what it is that they're feeling. Now, sometimes there are people, the masculine energy, that do hide their feelings. They don't want to be exposed. Too much to handle because they're not used to it. So I am going to give you an example. And this is a very common example. It's like everybody has the same story. So you meet somebody, either by yourself or through someone, through an app or whatever. So you meet someone and there's this attraction, really nice attraction, and you know that there's something special there. And you go on a few dates in the beginning, and then once in a while, you kind of meet up. There's still a lot of attraction when you meet up. There's still a lot of passion when you meet up. And when this individual is with you, it just feels like it's perfect. This is the best choice I could ever have. This is my person. And it's a very fulfilling kind of feeling. It is something that is just known that, yeah, this is my person. The world seems perfect. Everything seems fine. But the problem is that this person comes and then they go. So they're in your life and then all of a sudden they're not in your life. What happens? Why do they do this? It's very irritating because it really leaves an individual lingering and waiting and wasting their life. So it is very frustrating, and it's not fair to the person who's waiting and thinking that maybe something else will, come to fruition in this relationship. Some people go so far as to, like, they will take you to see their family, to see their friends. And oh my goodness, back in the day when somebody would do this, it would be considered that we are committed to each other. We are exclusive, and therefore they are showing me around. Wow, this means that we're actually headed somewhere. Strangely, I don't know why, but things have changed now. It's a very common thing to bring home one person, and then after a few months, you bring somebody else, then somebody else. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares if you introduce somebody to your parents or you take them out with your friends to whatever kind of party. The next month or a few weeks later, you have somebody else. This is a very strange phenomena. It's just the way it is with the times. Times are changing. But for a lot of people, it's very sacred. It's a very emotional thing for somebody to actually introduce you to their parents, right? That's huge. So some people do this, and it gives the impression that, wow, we are headed somewhere. this is something solid. Unfortunately, there are some people out there that do this because they have done it before, because they have gotten away with it. For them, it's natural, it's normal. For us, it's abnormal. We're like, oh, that's unique, that's different. So we're like all happy. But in the meantime, that individual is just doing what they always do. So each person is truly different. Each person is different. Every man, every woman, completely different. The way they express themselves, the way they think that they should deal with an individual versus their family, how to have that interaction. Now, what I've seen is that there are times where my clients, they write to me and they say that this person, I've been waiting for 2 to 3 years, and for some strange reason, they're afraid to commit. That's like one. And then sometimes they say things like, they're here and life is great, I love it, but then they're gone for months. They don't text me, they don't visit me, they don't talk to me, they ignore my messages. And then boom, a few months later, the person comes back, right? And when they come back, there's this glimmer of hope, right? We hope that, oh wow, they're coming back. That means that they actually missed us. That means that this person actually wants me. But what happens? They're with you again for that small period of time, and then poof, they're gone again. And it's an endless cycle. This is something that is very common these days. And I have seen with the amount of clients that I've had, the stories are just about the same. Because human behavior is very similar, right? It doesn't matter where you are, what country you're from. People's behavior is instinctive. It's very much the same. I'm going to give you a few reasons. And this is something that not a lot of people would know. I know this because, as many of you know, I do readings. So I'm able to feel and see what another person's feeling towards another individual. So I can actually give you the explanation behind this and not just tell you to, yes, be the best version of yourself and move on, right? That's great. But you might face this again. And what are you going to do? Be another best version of yourself? Like, you can't keep going on like that. You literally need to know why a person does what they do. And there's several reasons. The main ones I am going to go over here with you. And this is specifically for ladies that are with men. Here we have, the first one here is, he is just filling a gap or an urge that only you can satisfy. So that's one of the reasons. Now, some guys have a lot of options. And out of all the options, there's let's just say there's flavors, right? There's chocolate's the best, because I love chocolate. And second's strawberry. We're talking about ice cream here. And you are the chocolate, okay? But this individual is juggling a strawberry and a vanilla, okay? They're comfortable with the strawberry and vanilla because they satisfy other urges, maybe financial security, maybe the sense of fun and adventure. Maybe one of them doesn't want to commit. And so this individual is happy because he can just play around and do whatever he wants. But that satisfaction of passion plus love is different. Emotions, you can't get that from everybody. That is when that individual wants to come to you. And they come to you for a specific reason. They're passionate with you for that reason, because there's a gap, there's a void that they're trying to fill. And so once they're satisfied, it's like once they have quenched, their thirst has been quenched, um, this is what it is. This person ends up having enough, they're satisfied, and now it's time to go. I hope I used that word quenched properly. So we also have, this I had to write down. He is doing this karmically. Okay. Now, some of you know that I do past life readings, which are really cool. I love doing those. So I go to a totally different world back in the day in different locations. It's a beautiful experience for me, actually. But in that, I have seen people who are karmic partners. The problem with karmic partners is that it's either like a punishment or it is a lesson that needs to be learned. So in a past life, and this is very common actually, in a past life, if you are a female now, you could have been a man in the past life. And the man that you're with now is actually a female. So, or was actually a female. So your genders were switched, okay? Biologically were switched. Now, sometimes what happens is you being a man in the past life could have used or abused this female. And you come again to planet Earth, you're born again, and now you have met this individual and your souls have recognized each other to some level. But what's interesting is that instead of the karma being repeated, where you were abusing this person, you were using and taking advantage of this person, now this person is taking advantage of you. That is something that happens karmically. And for the life of yourself, you just can't figure out, why does this person treat me like this? Why do I keep going around in this cycle? That is a karmic cycle. The only thing you can possibly do if you notice a repetitive pattern is to break that cycle. And you have to find somebody completely different. Because there are certain people that just don't change. Because that's what they think is right. They think they're right, and that's why they do what they do. So karmically, it also happens, unfortunately. It's very difficult to see that karma. But what I can say is the clients that come to me are emotionally very injured. Like it's not just once this happened. It happened many, many times. It's like being with this person. There's love, but it's like hell. And they just cannot move on. And they don't understand why this person has either left them or hurt them and betrayed them in such a way. It's very intense. The only reason is because of this whole karma-related problem. That is the reason why. So that is also something that happens. And I do, suggest not to dismiss that part either, because that is a huge piece when you are trying to find somebody. And it's something that I realized recently. I didn't know this until I saw the change and shift in some people when I looked through my angel guide, Angel Fake Heal, to see whether they are soulmates or karmic partners. So what I learned recently is that karmic partners can turn into soulmates. And soulmates can turn into karmic partners. It's just a label. Now, karmic partner, if you are with somebody like this, if the karma is canceled, if both parties are now in love with each other, they turn into soulmates. But then we also have two individuals where out of the two, one might actually betray the other. And then automatically, they turn into karmic partners because now there's karma involved. Now, if it's not settled in the next life, that will have to be settled somehow. Some debt have to be paid, not actual money, but emotional. Now, we also have here another reason why people, men usually, are in and out of a relationship, on and off, hot and cold. He falls in love He falls in love with you. Then it scares him. Then he pulls away from the relationship because the passion scares him. It is so intense that it shakes his core. It also shakes yours. Some people are able to handle love because they have been there and done that before. And some people are not able to actually handle the intensity and the passion of love. It is ridiculously intense. Many of you know this. You felt it. It is so intense. I've had people, like I had one client. She had to go to the psych ward twice. There's many of them that are just depressed. Many of them, well, 2 people that I know that ended up having anxiety attacks, and then 1 person ended up in the hospital with a heart attack. Like, this is how crazy love can make us. It hurts us, right? It's very, very intense. So that can happen to somebody else. It can happen to anybody. Sometimes the anxiety and the nervousness and the judgment. People are afraid of what's going to happen. Will I be able to handle this? Is this person worthy of someone like me? Like, she's beautiful. She's so nice and caring and loving. She's so sweet. She's so innocent. Even if they corrupted you, it doesn't matter. They still think you're innocent. At that point, then they wonder, like, does this person really deserve someone like me? No, they deserve better. I'm not good enough. That's a thought that comes in their mind. Many times I've seen this. And when that happens, they think that they're unworthy. And they're also afraid. What are they afraid of? They're afraid that one day, if they fall in love with you, it will be so intense that if something happens to you, they wouldn't know what to do. And men, since history, they have been more aggressive because of the type of life that we've had in the past. A lot of aggression. They can hurt themselves, they can hurt other people, commit suicide. There's so many things because the passion and the love is that intense. It's that crazy. It's that crazy. Plus the little bit of testosterone that they have, right? Men do love. Kingdoms, like I've mentioned before, have been built for the love of a woman. And kingdoms have also fallen for the love of a woman. It's crazy. Women have a lot of effect on men. We can do that to guys. But you see the intensity here. Even if a guy doesn't build a kingdom in this day and age, the feelings are still there. He still feels that way. This is just too much. I can't handle this. This is so much. I'm obsessing over this woman. I just want to rip off her clothes. I just want to be with her. Like, it's savage almost to the point where it's sometimes for some men it's just too much to handle. Like, it's hard for a female to understand and comprehend this. But this is why a guy pulls back. He stays away from the woman. Sometimes he just stays away because he has to, because he doesn't want to hurt you in any way, and he himself doesn't want to get hurt. He would rather be, and this is a crazy part, he'd rather be with somebody else who he's maybe sexually satisfied with, and financially, but that's it. He'd rather be with a person like that, or just even financially, or somebody that just cooks and cleans. He'd rather be with somebody like that instead of being with the love of his life. Why? Because if anything ever happened to you, or if you ever left him, or if you ever passed away, he would not know what to do, and it would break him to the core. It's strange, but some guys don't even realize that that is the reason why. It's very instinctive. It's happened throughout history, past lives. That's the way I read people from the inside. That this is the reason why some guys are hella scared. They are scared. It's not because they're wimps. It's because they're afraid of the passion, the love, the craziness, the intensity. That's what happens. So he falls in love Then he gets scared and he pulls away. Eventually, somebody like this usually comes back because he can't be out of your life for too long. Because when he's far away from you, he feels this pull, this energetic pull, this spiritual pull that he just can't cut. He can't cut the cord. He can't stay away. It's a very intense and beautiful connection. And it is difficult for people to sometimes go through this or think about how are we going to be, living together? Like, how am I supposed to be with this person if I'm constantly thinking about her? I can't concentrate on work. I can't do any work. I can't achieve anything. I can't write my exam. I can't focus on this presentation. Like, it's a weird thing, but there are some guys out there that love so much and it becomes a burden, it becomes a problem. And it's because they just can't handle it. Certain people are not ready to handle it. There's some guys, they embrace it. They're able to handle it. Usually, it's because in a past life, they were a woman. They have more of that nurturing quality. They have an openness to love and acceptance. They have this mind that kind of envelops everything and accepts everything. But if you see my other video, Divine Masculine, you'll see why it's difficult for sometimes for men to be like that. Because throughout history, they have been very masculine in nature, very alpha in nature, confident leader, however, also being somebody who's rough and tough. Now, there's another point here that I wrote down. I've given this example to a few people already. You are his Disneyland, a recharging station. Then he goes out to face the evil world. Okay. So let's say he's like at home and he's either with his wife, maybe his girlfriend, maybe a fiance, somebody, right? Partner, whatever. What happens is at some point in time, they realize that, my life is a bit boring, but such and such person really interests me. And so they meet you, right? You are that person. And they see the qualities in you versus the other person that they're with, and they see, wow, this person is amazing. This is what I've always wanted. I feel alive. I feel vibrant. I feel young again. I feel alive again. All these great feelings start to emerge in this person's, not just mind, but in their heart. You make them feel like the world is a better place. However, they feel stuck in another relationship. They've invested too much in that. Some of you can see the other video that I have, dating a divorced or separated man in separation. There are a lot of investments, time, energy, effort that individuals put into relationships. If you see that video, you'll understand what I'm saying right now for this particular video right now. So what happens is, you're like an amusement park. He's ready to see you, and he is so happy because it's going to be a great day. So he visits you. It's like a vacation. He visits you, stays for a while, goes on all the rides, tastes all the candy, and he loves it. He's having a great time. All the rides are perfect. The weather's lovely. This is all you, by the way. This is you. This is how you make him feel. There's no cares for the world. The world doesn't exist outside of this amusement park. The world is not what it is. There is no world outside. You are his world because you are that piece of happiness that he cannot get when he leaves your amusement park. Now, while he's there, he is free. He is himself. He can act however he wants. He can have as much fun as he wants. He has unlimited access to whatever. And you don't restrict him from anything, right? This is why he loves this place. That place is you. But then what happens? He realizes that, oh, it's time to go now. I have to go. And so, just like a recharging station, he's fully charged now. Now he is satisfied. He's happy. He's gotten his rides. He got his candy. He is ready to face the other person. And so, he leaves. But when he leaves, he has all these memories on his way back on the road. He's driving. He has all these good memories of, well, we did this and we did that, and she's so nice, and this was so yummy. She made this for me. She's so fun. Man, I can't stop thinking about her. And so he goes home. He's not happy at home because he has memories now that he's built with you. And so things change once he's at home. He gets back into the everyday grind. He's working. He's doing his job, dealing with the arguments, dealing with everyday life, everything that all of us do every day. He's doing that. But it's like a hamster wheel, endlessly. He's just doing work, 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 and that's it. But you are that great escape for him. And so he comes to you again after some time, after he's had enough. Some guys do this simply because they feel that they are stuck in a relationship. They're stuck with the other person. Many of us think that if there's love, then people can, love will conquer all. At times it does. But unfortunately, these days, practically in this world right now, with financial hardships and stuff like that, it is not easy anymore. People are with people for financial reasons. It's very common. And their love is somewhere outside of their relationship. So they try to fill in that gap. When you have a relationship that you feel is in and out, on and off, hot and cold, it's simply because this person, it's not that they haven't really decided. They have not made plans to accommodate you in their life. They have not gone there yet. But do they want you? Yeah, they do. Now, keep in mind, there are some guys out there, okay, that really are just simply players. And all they want, like I said right in the beginning, there was this just filling a gap so that the urge can be satisfied, right? So there are those type of guys out there that are just going to do exactly that. But you can tell the difference. If you can try, you can tell the difference. They will only be, and I had one of my clients, she specifically told me that he would only talk about sex. Only. That is all he would ever talk about. Any type of topic beyond that. Nothing about friends, nothing about a TV show, nothing about hobbies. She didn't even know, like, his birthday, which is kind of crazy. You got to know the person's birthday. Right? You have to know that. If you've been with somebody for about a year or two and you have not found out what their birthday is, there's definitely something going on that's not right. So yes, it is very important to see those red flags, right? If somebody's only talking about lustful things with you, please don't think that that person is in love with you. At that moment in time, they are not. In the future, they can be. But at that moment in time, they're not in love with you. They're just lusting after you. On the other side, we do have some people that do fall in love with you. But you can tell the difference. You should be able to tell the difference the way they talk to you, the way they hold you, the way they listen to you, the way they show interest in you, your life, your problems, everything like that. But then boom, they have to go. That is a person that does love you. There are differences. And sometimes I've noticed some of my clients are in denial. And I have to have the heart to tell them that it's not what they think it is. And some of them don't like that. They're like, no, 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 you just don't know. Well, you know what? If I don't know, then dude would have been with you right now. You guys would have been together. Obviously, he's not with you. He doesn't love you. Some women think that they know the man better than he even knows himself. The reason why a man does what he does, you gave him all this love, you've been with him, you give him everything. It's not because he's trying to hurt you. It's because it's just not what he wants at that time. Many times we forget that it's not just about us, it's about them too. Do they feel comfortable? Do they want us as well? Do they have a choice? Yes, they do. They do have a choice, don't they? Yeah, I want the person to be mine, but that's their choice if they want to. It doesn't matter how much you give. And you may think, I gave so much and this person just kept taking advantage and they kept taking and taking. Okay. Who put that person in that position in the first place? You did. The person is only taking and taking because you are giving and giving. Once you stop, then they will stop taking. And actually what happens, certain circumstances, I'm thinking about the ladies that are paying for men who are absolutely rude, and the men stay at home, they're not even working, and the woman is working, and she comes home, cooks and cleans, and she's just satisfying him, and she's completely in love with him. Usually this is because of a lack of self-esteem and feeling the feeling of abandonment. I don't want this person to leave me. I'll do anything for him. Every lady does what she does because she has her own reasons as well. But it's important to know that there are sometimes other options. Things can change. It's very difficult for us to be just with one person and live that life forever and ever. It should not be the case. Things should not be like that. And that individual will not value you if you keep giving and giving. Sometimes you have to put a tiny bit of a boundary and a little bit of a wall depending on your situation. And when you do that, that person will start to realize that you have value, that you have worth. And once you have worth, they'll be afraid to lose you because they know that you are worth something, so they will not want to lose you. And then, especially if you put up some boundaries and keep your distance, like no contact, and I mean no contact, then they usually want to come back into your life because you have triggered at that point something in them that you did not do before. You made them see your worth, see your value. If somebody comes back, that's fine. If they don't, then you know that they were never really yours at all. There are, like I said, a variety of people. I've seen people that have done this. They've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on the guy, helped him with his business, and they're just like, they just started dating, right? Women go out of their way to be that mom figure, which is not a bad thing. Some men want a woman who is very much like their mom. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people think that's disgusting, but you know what? You want a guy? You have to be that kind of girl if you want that type of guy. It's very normal. It's very natural. And if you want kids, he also expects you to be that type of a nurturing, soft, gentle, caring woman like you are with him, with his kids. Men look at this. They look at these things. Even if you're not having kids, they still want to know that you are that softy that he can come to and just, put his head on your lap and just say, oh, this is my love. This is my life. I'm happy here. I'm content. That's what they want. They don't want anybody that's butting heads with them. Because when you're butting heads, nothing's going anywhere, right? Now, yes, it is important to have a backbone, right? But when you're in a connection that you discover that it's hot and cold, and it is for too long, you have to be careful. You need to know when to start moving on. I've had clients that have been in oh my God, a 5-year relationship. And they wait once a month to see their special person. Can you imagine? Once a month for 5 years. That's just terrible. That's not normal. That's not normal. Don't do that. That's not healthy. That is not a relationship. Look at the people around you. How are their relationships, right? That is a real relationship. Those are real relationships, not the one that you're going through. Here we have, I wrote a little bit of advice. Let me just read this. Yeah, depending on your years of interaction, you, quote, need, unquote, you need to move on, depending on the years that you've been interacting with this person. So, let's say if you have been on off for 2 years, that's the average I've seen in my readings, and the person is just the bloody same, they're not changing. You know what? They're most likely not going to change. You have to put your foot down and realize that that person's having their fun with you and a bunch of other people, or maybe one more extra person. It's best to let them know that you're going to cut the connection off completely. Completely. Okay? You don't want to be with another man and then have this guy show up and then your new relationship is jeopardized too. You don't want that. So here you have to let them know. The best option is to let them know. If you don't let them know, then there's a lack of closure, you see. And then they think, because guys do this, they think if there's no closure, then that means it's an open door. They can come back into your life. And that's not right. You need to not be like them. You need to be like those people that actually have a conversation and tell them, look, we've been through a lot, but I don't think this is going to work out for me. It's time for me to move on. And you know what? If this person really wants you, they will change for you. But if they don't, then you know. At the very least, you gave them a chance. You told them what your plans are. You didn't keep them in the dark. You don't have this lack of closure where some people do that to us, right? So you do need to let this person know that you're cutting it off, and the word is completely. You can't be friends with this person because those feelings as women, it's extremely rare for anybody not to have feelings. So it's hard for us to not have feelings for a person that we have been with before. There's always going to be a soft spot for them. And there's always that tipsy night where we might get a little drunk and then, oops, something happened, right? So it's best not to be in that type of a situation. Now, we also have here, I wrote down, what are you wasting time for? Question mark. Think logically and practically. Now, in love, there is no logic. I don't think there is. Practical? Nah, who cares? But in all honesty, if you are, none of us are getting any younger, right? And getting old is not a bad thing. It's part of life. Every age, I think, has its own beauty and wisdom. But there's certain things that should not repeat. I've done readings for like 70 and 80-year-olds and that literally have never matured emotionally. Like they still think like teenagers and their relationships are just like that. It's just me, I want. That's why they never really settled down. They could never really find anybody because they never evolved. They never changed. They never adjusted. That's the problem. Sometimes we're a bit stubborn in our ways and what we really want. I know being in love is ridiculous. Sometimes it's too much to handle. But if you think about it, look at everybody else around you, right? They're growing. They found their person. They now have a family or fur babies. And they're moving on. And they're having fun. They're going on vacations. They're taking pictures. They're posting it. And then you're just watching all that, right? They are building memories. You are not. There's that line that you have to cross and you have to think, am I being practical? Am I being realistic? This is my life. I was given this life for a reason. Not to be upset, not to be sad, not to be hoping and praying and waiting. There are other people out there. I know it's not going to be exactly like this individual, but it's important to see that we do have many other karmic partners. We have many other soulmates. We have a variety. It's like a buffet, actually. We have a variety of people. I told in my other reading, one of the other readings I had, there was 2 soulmates, and they met on Tinder. Like, wow, okay. Didn't know that happened, but celestial beings, angels, God, that's the way they plan things. They go with the times too. They go according to the times. They still have those type of plans where people will meet. There will be a connection. The only thing is you have to have that vibe as well. You have to have that yearning, right? You have to have that type of passion and drive to want that. Because when you do that, you will attract that. People want to be around happy people, people who are smiling, people who are happy on the inside. Even if you try to go out, I've had many clients that they try to go out and, I'm trying to put my past behind me and I just met this guy, but I'm still thinking about, the old guy. Well, why are you going on a date? Because that means you haven't healed yet. You're going to get some bad karma because you're going to hurt that person too. Yes, sometimes you just want to see where it goes, but there's a limit. You have to know if you have healed and if you really are ready to move on. Like I said, you have to think, the world is moving on. Where am I? What am I doing? Let me enjoy this freedom that I have for a little while. Let me heal from this. Let me write down all the things that happened. Let me see all the mistakes that were made. Let me see the things, talk to a couple of my friends or my family that I never really saw any red flags. And maybe next time when I'm with somebody, I'll keep an eye out for that. Because if it happens again, I've been there, done that. I'm not going to take that bullshit again. See, a lot of people, they repeat the same mistakes I've noticed. And that's the biggest issue, is that we don't change. So be logical about it. Be practical about it. We have to learn from our mistakes and from our experiences. And then you are a bigger and better version of yourself automatically. For the next person that you want to meet, you will actually attract another person in your life if you have that type of an attitude. Now, we do have to be careful when we meet somebody else, right? We don't want to be judging them too harshly. That is a brand new person. That individual was born and raised differently. They don't know your history, and you don't know their history. So it is important to keep an open mind when you're meeting somebody, and don't compare them to the person you had before, because the person you had before was clearly not a keeper. Why would you compare? Because that person never really ended up committing to you. There's only certain characteristics and traits that you actually like from the other person. And you can easily find those in other people too. The only unique part and the best part is to actually find somebody who's going to commit to you. That's the type of person you need. And usually, those are the shy type of people. Like a shy guy. Or a guy who is, they're an extrovert. However, you can sometimes tell after you start speaking to a person. And the best thing to do is go online, do some research, learn more about relationships, read a little bit about psychology, but don't expect to be able to apply all of that to what you're going through. Not everybody will be the same. Whatever you study or read, the guy might turn out to be completely different. I personally, I do that. I'm not like usual people. Somebody may think I'm thinking something else or doing something else, but in the back of my mind I have something completely different and they can't actually tell what I'm doing. Like there's people that actually can't read me because they say that's how complicated I am on the inside. I'm able to, I wouldn't say mask my feelings. I don't mask my feelings, definitely not. I can't mask my feelings. But it's sometimes that there's layers, and one layer can shift on top and the other can go on the bottom, and immediately you can change it again. Layers in the sense that, like our emotions, right? So yourself, you need to understand that everybody is different. And it's very important not to compare or judge the person that you are going to be with. Who knows what kind of childhood they had, what kind of trauma they had right in the beginning, you know? They might have had like a mom that abandoned them, a father that abused them. They might have been, you know, sexually abused at some point in time or something like that. Like crazy stuff happens. So we need to have that compassion, that open mind and open heart, that this person also is looking for a mate. This person is also looking for somebody. But try to see everything about them as much as you can. And do keep in mind of all the types of red flags. There's a lot of good YouTube videos out there to see what are the red flags. Once you know that and once you educate yourself, you'll be on a higher level and you'll know exactly what it is that you want, who you want to be dealing with, and who you don't want to be dealing with. You'll be like an expert. And it doesn't take a very long time to understand all this. That's what's best about like videos, YouTube, and all these other places, all these other platforms and books and blogs, because people have already been there and done that. Why do you have to go through it? It's just like going to school. People have already gone through the experiments, gone through the formulas. They know the answer. All we have to do is just read it up. We don't have to go through it. We don't have to learn it. We don't have to actually make the formula. We don't have to go through the experimentations. We just know the answer. So it's best to see what other people have done, what they've gone through, and how they have resolved this. But you can only do that by getting the proper education from the proper people. Some can be your family members, your loved ones, people who have had successful relationships, or people who have had really crappy relationships, and they can tell you that, by the way, stay away from this type of a person, right? So it is important to be a little bit, exposed and talk to your friends. Many of your friends will tell you, no, this is not the right person for you. But I know, love is crazy, love is blind, and you'll be like, no, I can't stop thinking about this person. And just to let you know, somebody who is hot and cold, in and out, on and off, what happens? You know there's that famous no contact period in between, right? The no contact period is like a trigger. This person triggers you. It's like a roller coaster. Everything's fine. Then boom, comes into your life. We go twirly twirl and we loop-de-loop and then we come back down again. Then, wow, the person's gone. And then we're normal again. And then again, oh my gosh, he's back after a few months. Right? There's that anticipation. And that naturally happens. That naturally occurs because there's no contact in between. That's a very natural phenomenon. I hope somehow, for some of you out there, I was able to provide some clarity and some guidance in this kind of situation. This is basically, I've compiled all of the different type of like scenarios and things that I've experienced and seen throughout the types of readings that I do. And I have to say, it is extremely common right now. Part of the reason I can tell you is because the world has changed in the past like 20, 30 years. A lot, right? We've had the internet, we have websites, we have sites like, like Bumble, like Tinder, all those places that are great because you can hook up with somebody, you can meet somebody. But it's somebody. And then there's other buddies too, right? There's other people. It's like a buffet. If it's not this one, it's that one, right? So this is another issue nowadays, that there's more variety than what there used to be. Back in the day, it'd be like, okay, the girl next door, all right, that's fine. Maybe the girl at school, okay. But now, you can meet anybody anywhere, right? So instead of 2 or 3 people, this individual may have 7 or 8 people. Because it's easy. It's easy just to find somebody just like that. And the characteristics and the traits that they're looking for, physically, emotionally, spiritually even, all of that it can be satisfied. Sometimes, if we're lucky, through one person. Sometimes you have it through two people, where this person's heart might be somewhere else, but his body is somewhere else. And then sometimes three people, where he feels this crazy, amazing spiritual connection with one woman, but he has the most intense atomic sex with another. And then the love that he feels is heavenly with another woman. And then he's stuck between three. It happens. It has happened throughout history as well. Since I do past life readings, I can see those trends. However, it has happened more in the past 30 years or so, ever since we've had more access to people all around the world. It's very common. All right. I hope I was able to provide you with some clarity and some guidance in your situation. Feel free to write in the comments below. Feel free to vent, talk, and of course we have other community friends that will write back, and they will maybe provide some advice as well, maybe their experiences. Feel free to do that. Always be willing to share. And I have noticed, because I do a lot of energy work as well, try to be a little creative. Everybody has something. Write your story, write it on a piece of paper, make a sketch, do a drawing, write a song, dance. What you're doing is releasing that energy. Try to release that toxic energy from your body. You'll be able to, because now you're transferring energy from yourself to a tangible object. Even the air, even though we can't touch it, like we are touching it, we are within the air, it still absorbs what it is that you want. So try to let go of certain types of feelings, emotions, and problems that you have, and be renewed, because time is precious, and it's best to build memories that are happy, because then we have something good to look back on. There is somebody out there that is made for you. You may not think it, but you can attract that individual by simply being open and accepting. Of course, not changing your ways completely. However, it is important to compromise. If you feel that this person is 90% of what you want, then who gives a shit about that 10%? Take the guy. Adjustments are always there. You're never going to find anybody that you're going to be with 100%, that this is exactly what I want. That doesn't happen. It is extremely rare. Even if you think it is, after you live together, then you notice those little habits, right? That is practical stuff. But I hope that all of you who have listened to this are able to just have some reflection, some introspection. Try to think about the things that you really want to achieve in life and what you're doing in the meantime. What can you be doing instead of just thinking about this person? What are you missing out on? Did you want to finish that project? Did you want to start a new hobby? Did you want to improve a certain skill? Use that energy that you have and put it to good use, because that is energy that you are sending out from yourself. Use it to the best of your abilities. All right. You all take care. Stay safe. Bye now.